Hi everybody. Today what I'm going to run through is the process that I usually take my competitors through backstage. There's many ways that you can pump up and get ready to walk on stage. This is just one of the ways, but I'll talk you through some of the issues, and we'll go through a basic little protocol that works really well, at least for me in the past. So this is basically what I would do with someone like Renata. This applies, girls and boys, to everyone from sports model to figure, but of course it's a lot more important to do the pumping up correctly if you're actually doing figure or physique as opposed to the sports model classes. Having said that, it's still important all round, and it's good for everybody to know this. So look, what I would do with somebody like Renata, first things first, is I would probably actually advocate trying to find a step and actually pumping up the calves, okay? So what we might do, if you're absolutely barefoot, you could just do this to get the pump, but Renata's found a step, and being at a competition, you're likely to be able to find some steps somewhere around the stage that you could pump up your calves. So I would actually construct a little circuit. So if you could get a little spot near something like this where you can pump up your calves, great. If not, just do them standing on the floor. That will be fine to get some blood into the calf muscles, because in my experience, not many girls have great calves, so it's good to get some blood flow. Now, I'm not a fan of pumping up the thighs, particularly if you've got fairly decent quads. With somebody like Renata, I would almost not do any quad work at all. So, for example, if you were someone with slightly smaller quads than Renata, what you might actually do is just a couple of sets just to warm up, just to bring out the outer sweep without getting too much blood flow in there that's going to actually smooth your quads right over. Okay, so you might do, say, 5 to 10 and maybe 3 sets just of squats as part of your circuit. So what I would next do is actually, now make sure, girls, that you use a towel, because you've got your tan on, you've got your cosy on. You don't want to get splotches and missing bits of tan. So imagine that we've got a nice big towel, and what I would do is I would get Renata to start off with some V crunches. So we're going to get some blood flow into the abs. So we might go through and do, say, 15 V crunches at about this tempo. So this is good. I don't want you to get too hot and sweaty so that the tan starts to run and you start to really perspire. So you'll be nice and warm, but not too warm. After this, let's flip Renata over and we'll do a set of push-ups. So we'll get some blood flow into the pecs, the delts, and the triceps, and we would go through probably about 10 push-ups. So we've got some calf raises, we've got 15 V crunches, the squats are dependent on your quad size. We go into the push-ups, and then I would get Renata to stand up. Now, girls, don't forget to take a set of dumbbells backstage so that you have some dumbbells to warm up with. That's important. Alternatively, Renata, you could take just a resistance band. These are pretty easy to use. Now, what we could do is probably next warm up the lats. So if we had the band, we could do something like this. She'll probably bowl me over. No. She's a bit strong. So we do probably around 12, maybe 15 rows. Okay, good. Now, let's just say we use the dumbbells, we would go into some shoulder presses above the head, so, or standing dumbbell presses. Now, what's really important for most girls is to get as much width as possible in the delt. So I'm a big fan of taking it out and doing quite a few side raises. So we'd go through about 10 of those, maybe even a little bit slower than what Renata's doing, really slowly. And then we might go over and go into some tricep kickbacks, just to give a little bit more emphasis from the push-ups for the triceps. Yeah. And then finally, we could go into some bicep curls. We do about 10 bicep curls. Then we can put the weights down. I would actually get Renata, so you can face Jai if you like. Get into your quarter turns. Yep. And I, being the backstage helper, would probably say, okay, quarter turn to the right. So I'd start to assess her, quarter turn to the right. She's getting a feel for the poses she's going to go into, and quarter turn to the right. Because the more that you flex and the more that you pose and back to the front, Renata, the harder you're going to get. Great. Now, I would actually give Renata 20-30 seconds. Let her calm down, let the heart rate drop, and then we would repeat the circuit. Now, just to mix it up so that you're aware of what we can do with the resistance band, we could do our shoulder presses and our side raises using the band as well. I guess the band is really easy. It's lightweight, easy to pop in your bag. So the shoulder presses would be done like so, and our side raises like so, and good old bicep curls like so. I think you're doing this yellow. Yeah, so basically we've got our calf raises, possibly some light squats just with your body weight, push-ups, V-crunches, push-ups. We've got our back exercise, our rows to get our lats nice and pumped. Then we've got shoulders, triceps, a little bit of isolation work, and then your biceps. Now, I think the other really important thing to know, I'll work with Renata because obviously that's who I've got here with me today. The idea of pumping up, it's kind of interesting. You've got to know your strengths and your weaknesses. So when I talked about quads, it's worth repeating that. If you do have really good sized quads, I really probably wouldn't mess with them because you'll almost take a really creamy look, and you'll just lose all that definition that you may have. Now, someone like Renata, okay, biceps are lacking a little bit. So, okay, that's one of her faults. You've got to know your faults. So if Renata's biceps are lacking a little, I would maybe only do 5 kickbacks, but in opposition I might do 15 biceps because we really want to get the blood into her weaker or lagging body parts. So I hope that makes sense. So for a lot of you, shoulders, if you don't have shoulders, you're really going to want to pump them up. Conversely, shoulders is actually a reasonably strong point of Renata. She would like to excessively pump them up and make them huge, but actually that draws attention to making her bicep look smaller. So in actual fact, we don't want to over pump the shoulders either. So I'm hoping that all of this makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. So you've got to know your body to know where to put the blood into most, where to put it in medium, and where to put it hardly at all. All right. So I hope this helps to set you up backstage so that you just feel a little bit more confident with what the heck you're doing, because it can be very intimidating the first time, can't it? Yeah, yeah, that was terrific. Thank you. Hi guys. Just to add on from the previous video that I've just done with Renata on pumping up backstage, I just wanted to advise you on the timeline. It's really difficult to know sometimes with some federations, some promoters and some shows when exactly your event is going to be on. You might get given a time of 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and you know what, you could be on at 1 o'clock because the show just runs a lot quicker than what the promoter actually thought, or conversely, they can run hours late. You know, I've left auditoriums at 9, 10 o'clock at night in Darwin, I think. So, you know, it can run overtime. So your best tip is to keep liaising with the marshals and the stewards to try and get your best ETA of when you're going to set foot on stage. Now, I would start to pose at around 15 minutes before you step on stage. So I would go through that circuit that we just went through. The idea is to be nicely pumped up, but not having overdone it so that you're dripping oil and getting really sweaty, hot and bothered, and that you actually spill over and lose all your definition. So that would be the first thing, trying to get that 15 minutes. Now, if, for example, you've actually got a little bit of time to spare, you're still standing around, you've finished pumping up, what I would do is actually, if you're the backstage helper, get your client or get you, the competitor, to go through your compulsory poses and continue to pose and flex and breathe. And that way you'll get harder and harder and harder, okay? And it'll keep you moving, keep you concentrating, and keep you grounded on what you're doing, not what your other competitors are doing, because it's important to maintain your best focus on you and not get kind of affected by those around you, because that can be quite intimidating and throw you off your game, and we want to keep you in a good headspace. So if you're finished and you've got a few minutes extra, just go through your quarter turns, your compulsory poses, just keep practicing, flexing, posing, breathing. All right, I hope that helps, guys.
Guys, for those of you who have been watching our videos prior to this and are looking for more videos of a similar nature, just make sure you subscribe to our channel, click on like, comment if you feel the need to, and make sure you share it with all of your friends. And we'll be doing some more videos in the future. Catch you later.
See you.